host of the Gridiron.
Crider, Ihmir Smith-Marsette, right? Deontay Johnson, bringing back a lot of guys, the free, Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan, a lot of the guys, that don't cost a lot, shall we say, because you got to have those on the guys on the roster. Everybody can't make $20 million. Well, it is what it is. But this one, this is another good one. After you saw what he can do. You got to get good blocking, of course, because against the Colts, it was just designed. The way it blocked and all of that, the guy just like up the middle, gone. Now, exactly, this is just once again one of those things I'm gonna say scratch my head about, but there ain't much more hair up there to scratch about. It's kind of like what happened to Gunnar Olszewski? I know he hurt his groin, but how bad did he hurt this thing? Hopefully Smith-Marsette can stay healthy. Let's see where we at here. Right, Ihmir Smith-Marsette re-signing could be a bigger deal than the fans realize. The NFL's latest attempt to spice up the return game could be a game changer for teams with legitimate special teams weapons. And that makes the New York Giants' decision to bring back Ihmir Smith-Marsette all the more interesting. Once again, guys going to be on the cheap. We didn't bring him back on a 3-year, $13.7 million. No. You know what I mean? Per Jordan Raanan, the Giants are bringing back the electric kick returner wide receiver on a 1-year deal. The league is potentially considering moving the touchback to the 35-yard line or pushing the kickoff spot back 5 yards to force more returns. Cool. Last year's dynamic kickoff system already led to a 57% increase in returns. And now they want even more action. If that happens, teams with a real return threat are going to benefit in a big way. You got that right. Luckily for the Giants, they just re-signed a guy who took full advantage of the new kickoff rules last season. Smith-Marsette could be a sneaky weapon in the new return era. Ihmir Smith-Marsette was one of the few bright spots in an otherwise miserable 2024 Giants season. Yeah, you can say that once again. The 25-year-old, once again, another young guy. We have a very young team. Very young team. The 25-year-old return specialist delivered the team's first kickoff return touchdown in nearly a decade. How pathetic is that, huh? Taking 100 yards to the house in Week 17 against the Colts. That earned him the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week honors and cemented him as a legitimate return weapon. Now, obviously, he's got the speed. Right, he's got the tools and everything, but it's got to be blocked well too. And that one return with the Colts, I don't know if anybody really touched him either. He made this. He quick to see, got the ball, and he got up, and you can just see like got a rocket up his butt, but he basically up the middle, and hardly anybody touched him, if anybody. So it was blocked very well. That's the one thing about with this new. There's as they say. Like Gabriel was talking about, is that there's not many layers. It's like you got a line of guys here and a line of guys here, and when the guy kicks the ball, this line here, the defensive, has got to they can't just go like that because all you got to do is break them, get a little hole. Guy goes that, so they come up, but they got to have at least a couple, 2 layers or so to it, right? So it makes it so if you can block it well, all you need is a little crease, and you get him going at full speed, right? And he get that hole going for him. He's gone, right? And you saw how well he's fast. Let's see. In total, Smith-Marsette returned 11 kickoffs for 381 yards and a touchdown last year. He also handled punt returning duties, racking up 228 yards on 29 punt returns for an average of 7.9 yards per return. 8 yards of returns, not bad. Not too shabby. With the Giants bringing him back on a one-year deal, he'll have the chance to prove himself again, potentially in a league where kick returners matter more than they have in years. If the NFL makes kickoffs more returnable, Smith-Marsette's skill set could suddenly become a major advantage for the Giants. Teams will need explosive, shifty returners who can make defenders miss in the open field, and Smith-Marsette fits that mold. And good old, remember Dwayne Harris, right? Since Dwayne Harris's 100-yard return in 2015, Giants have struggled to find any consistency in the return game. Although, remember, obviously, it's going back the year before that, right? Gunner returned the one punt for a touchdown. It wasn't a kickoff, though. They cycled through players, but nobody has locked down the job. Smith-Marsette, however, showed real flashes last season, and if the NFL really does revive the importance of return specialists, he can become a key piece of the Giants' special teams unit. Bringing him back on a low-risk deal could turn out to be a sneaky win for the Giants, especially if the new kickoff rule allows him to make an even bigger impact in 2025. Now, because it's obviously what they say is one of the most exciting plays. Get the ball up in the air and all of that, and the guys run. It's a little bit different, right? But when the guys used to run down the field and you got the guy blocking each other and all that, and the guy catches the ball and he starts running and he breaks a hole and he breaks another one and he takes it off that. Very exciting play. Now, of course, the NFL does not want to lose that, right? But they're trying to make it safe, right? That's why they have the kickoff rules. It is, the two lines of the right after he touches the ball, then they can, right. But they have to. I'm sure they'll have the data and all that stuff, and the kickoffs went up, 57% from the year before, but the injuries came down, so that's huge, right? They certainly don't want to take the kickoff. That's just crazy. Unfortunately, the way it is, now it's like they took the onside kick out of, there's no sneaky onside kick anymore. They took that out of, right? That can be to certain players a dangerous, play. But so unfortunately, they took most of that out. It has to be at the end of the game. You got to be losing. You got to tell, hey, we're doing an onside. So there's no sneaky onside kick anymore, as of right now, unless they change the rules, right? But they certainly don't want to take the kickoff return out of the game. It's very exciting, right? And it's just the way it is. If you can block it right, you get like one hole or one or two holes or so, and guy can be gone, because the way it was before, everybody had a lane, right? But you wanted to stagger the lanes. You don't want just all, you got 10 guys running down the field and you got the kicker hanging in the background, right? But you don't want all 10 guys running down the field in a line, right? You got what do you got, like 4 or 5 guys here, another 3 guys behind them, another 3 guys, whatever, So you want to stagger it. So, but the way it is now, makes it a little bit easier, maybe to open up a hole or so. And if there's not a lot of layers there, you can certainly see where the kickoff can be a very exciting play, very, very exciting play coming in the NFL. So that's once again another good signing by the Giants, bringing a guy back, right, who has a role, right, and he's cheap, on the cheap. So that's right.